Hello there, race fans. Urban Pirate here with GT Champions World Cup, and it is season 4, round number 9. We are literally one round away from the culmination of what has been an awesome season of racing. My only disappointment with this season is that I didn't start streaming it at round 1. I jumped in, as you know, I think round 4 was my first. And I tell you what, every race has just got better and better and better. And here we are. We are round 9 at the high speed ring in the Genesis G70. Now, before I took this car around this track, I wasn't a big fan of this car, I'm going to be brutally honest. But I tell you what, it has proven to be an amazing little motor car. Especially around here, it can be very, very quick. So, what is the situation today? Well, the situation is this. Last time out, we were at Watkins Glen in the Ford GT40. And that was what happened. Average Viper wins from Scarlett from Wigorski. Well, actually, Toolshed won, but there was, I believe, a penalty was given to him. I think there was an additional fueling incident or something along those lines. So that is the final podium. Average Viper from Scarlett from Igorski. Scarlett being the current championship leader. Igorski currently second in the championship, chasing behind. So full results from round 5 with penalties applied, etc. are as follows. Average Viper, Scarlett, Igorski. Toolshed demoted 3 places down to 4th. Stagman from Benjo. Good performance from Benjo, actually. Ghost was 7th, Chip Reese 8th, Formula Juan was 9th, OK Jake 10th, Captain Jack was 11th, and Remy Privateer in 12th place. So let's have a look what they did to the standings. We're about 10 minutes from race start, so got plenty of time to go through it. So standings following that race. Scarlett still in the lead. Now that lead has now been extended by 10 points. He is on 114 points. Igorski 104. Toolshed 10 points further back on 94. And the big mover, Average Viper, just 4 points outside that top 3 on 90 points. those 4 are still all in for a podium. I think we can safely say that Scala has guaranteed a top 3 now, whatever happens. The question is, can he win the championship today? A number of things has to happen for him to do that, of course. He's 10 points clear of Igorski, so if he finishes 9 points higher than Igorski, he will be crowned champion at the end of race number 9. But the way that Igorski's been driving, I can't see that happening. Igorski's been very strong. As the season's gone on, he's just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's going to go to the wire, I think. I think we're going to have to wait till next week to crown a champion. But it's in Scala's hands. He just needs to finish well and keep putting those points on the board. That simple. Grid for this evening. We'll go through it properly in a minute. But there we go. Reverse grid from last time out. Obviously, people slotted in different places depending on what's gone on. So, here we go. Let's have a quick look at the lobby. I'm Adam Parr, as I said, we're sponsored by Detailing Group. Also brought to you by Metropolis.com, Digit Gaming, Pride of the Dragon, presented by RW Racing, and of course, we are powered by High Pre. So we've got in the room this evening Toolshed. Did win last week, but a little points deductions dropped him down 3 places, dropped out that top 3. Average Tom, Average Viper. He's our host for this evening and looking pretty strong as the season's moving on. GT45 Gaming, not sure what that is. We're going to look at their proper names in a minute. That's their Scala. There is Igorski, Dry Bones Malone, Stangman. Devlin is back. We missed him. He was actually winning a race at Autopolis before we got disconnected. We didn't see him for last week. I think we missed him. But he is back with us. Okay, Jake is with us. Remy. Chip Reese, my friend Benjo, there he is. Formula One, and of course, me. But I'm not going to be racing, of course I'm not. The formation lap will be starting shortly, about 7 or 8 minutes. So, but where are we tonight? We're at High Speed Ring in the Genesis G70. So let's have a quick look at the lap. These cars are on BOP. Benjo says, let's go, bro, and absolutely let's go. This is going to be a good one, Benjo. I'm quite looking forward to this. I think there's going to be a couple of surprises today. So, there it is. It's a super quick track. This was done by my friend PM10 Racing. If you get an opportunity to do, go give him a like. He's got some really awesome little videos on track guides and stuff. So you are flat out through the first turn. Absolutely flat out, nothing but flat out through there. You head down on the brakes here, down into 4th gear, hug the outside wall. You don't need to touch the apex here. Hug the outside wall, stay on the power as you hit the bridge. Going across this bridge, you drop to the left hand side, 50 metre boards, you're on the anchors, get it turning. You want to clip that apex as early as possible because you want to get on the power, but you don't want to get it in too early because you want to stay right for the immediate left hand turn. Then you can get on the power, let it drift into the tunnel, and you will literally just hug this line now all the way around, flat out all the way. Now on soft tyres, this left-hand turn coming up here is absolutely flat. So as you can see, you do not really let off the accelerator for 90% of this lap. A couple of big braking zones, that is it. It's that simple, that quick, and you are around the lap, and the lap is done. Very quick lap around here at High Speed Ring. There is nothing more to it than that. That was a very quick lap. It was a 1:11. Because of balance of power being on, I would imagine that the soft tyre runners under full pelt will be going somewhere around 15, 16. 1 minute 15, 1 minute 16. Medium tyres, probably a second a lap slower than that. But it really depends on the pace. You don't know what the sort of pace is going to be like out front early on. But we will soon find out. Just want to talk very quickly. There is a very exciting event coming up with in conjunction with Digit Gaming. They've reached 20,000 subscribers, and as a sort of celebration, they've got the 20k series, which will be in conjunction with GT Champions. It's a really cool little tournament actually. It will be broadcast live on GT Champions with commentary, of course. I don't know if I'm being invited to do that. I'll soon find out. Although there will be a couple of events I might not be able to do. but we will see. Essentially, it is going to be a series of 25 minutes races, 25 minutes, 10-minute qualifier before each round. 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is about 6, I think it's 6 or 7 p.m. UK time, there or thereabouts. In order to pre-qualify, which closes on Thursday, November the 10th, you've got a friend of the PSN accounts of GTC Official and GTHR _digit. All the information, of course, is on the GT Champions website. And then you go and do a circuit experience on Autopolis in the GR2 car and set the best lap attack time. Drivers will have closing until the closing date to set their best times. Once that's done, there will be 4 rounds. 19th of November, 3rd of December, 10th of December and the 17th of December. Monza, Spa, Daytona and Circuit de la Sarthe. They are 4 awesome tracks. Probably 4 of the best tracks available in the game. But all the information is on the GT Champions website. Just check it out and you can find out everything you need to know there. And if you don't need to know it, it's not there. So we have 3 minutes left. So quick little rundown of what is going on. So there we go. There is your full qualifying list for today. It is at the high speed ring. Tyres as usual. 1 set of each. 1 set of racing soft. 1 set of racing medium. Fuel at 2 times consumption. Pit window opens from 50 to 40 minutes left. It's literally 5 minutes either side of the middle of the race. Essentially 45 minutes, 5 minutes each side. That is the pit window. That is when you change your tyres. That is when you refuel. Now, I'm going to predict here that the majority of people will start this race on the medium compound tyres because they're going to want to have the high grip and the pace in the closing stages of this race on the softs. And as I said, it's about a second half a lap difference between those 2 tyre compounds. They can pit outside the window, of course, but that's only for damage. And penalties will be handed out, as we've seen with Toolshed losing out, if you do anything else outside that time. So Remy, Captain Jack, OK Jake, Formula 1, front 4, Chip Reese, Ghost, Benjo, Stangman, Toolshed, Igorski, the current championship leader, Scarlet, and Average Viper. That is the rundown order. I did see Dry Bones there in 13th as well, which I believe he is in there as well. Yeah, he's there as well, so I think he's going to be there in 13th. What more is there to know? A couple of minutes away. We'll jump in the room in a sec, actually, because it's a couple of minutes away from the formation lap. It will be a formation lap, and then it's go time. So I'm not going to bother bringing the calendar up because we're not going that far. So let's jump straight in. I think it's the easiest way to do it, isn't it? So as I said, we're a couple of minutes away. Yeah, we're a couple of minutes away from starting. Everyone's looking. Let's have a look at some of these liveries actually. Who's out on track? Skyline in the pits for Ice Racing Group. Not many actually are there, to be fair. Most are sitting in the pits waiting for the formation lap. It is a pretty simple format. It's a 90-minute race. It starts with the formation lap. They all go out. Well, actually, they sit on the start line. I think the format changed slightly because it used to be they drive around and form themselves, but with a couple of issues that happened, the decision was taken that they will drive out in the order they are supposed to be. So you'll see, obviously, Remy, because he's on pole, he will be the first one out. He will drive around, and they have essentially a start line. So that's a little way just before the actual start-finish line. And the whole point is they drive around at 75k, get to that line, drop the speed down to 55 kilometers an hour, and you assume that the safety car that's not there has peeled away, and then that is when your foot goes down, and Remy essentially becomes the lead car and decides when they go. And I think you're going to see him going pretty damn quickly this time out. So I said Remy will be leading them out. Captain Jack, OK Jake, Formula 1, Chip Reese, Ghost, Benjo, Stangman, Toolshed, Igorski, Scarlet. And I'm going to change. I want to change something here actually. I want to change to. That's not it. That one there. Yeah, Scarlet, Average Viper and Dry Bones in that order once they've gone out. We've got time actually while they form up to do this because we can't get the camera angles we like otherwise. So there we go. So there is Remy going through. Remy will obviously take the de facto lead of this race. Then it'll be Captain Jack. Then OK Jake. Doesn't look like Captain Jack's here actually, so it won't be Captain Jack. It'll be OK Jake. Then it will be Formula One. Then Chip Reese. Then Ghost. Then Benjo. There he is, Benjo, my friend Benjo. Good luck today, mate. Stangman. There he is. Then Toolshed. There is Toolshed. Scarlet, of course. Average Viper. Actually, it should be Igorski, then Scarlet. So Igorski should be there. Then Scarlet. Then Average Viper. Then, I don't know where Devlin's supposed to sort in there, but I'm sure he's... they found a place for him. So the only one that looks out... Oh, no, Igorski has dropped in the right place. Oh, has he? Yes, so Igorski in 9th. Average Viper needs to move up one, swap places with Scarlet. But, here we go. We come round under the bridge. Under the overhead bridge. This is the first braking zone in the lap, to be fair. You are flat out until that point. Then you head down. We're doing it at a slow pace, it's easier to do. You drift into this left-hand side as you cross the bridge here. That's your braking point about there. You get turned in. Nice early apex you want. Nice and early. Because you want to get on the power, but you don't. You want to feather it and stay to the right-hand side. Because that will give you a much better entrance into this left-hander. Which you do hug the apex here. And then you on the power and let the car drift way, way out. That's really, really wide. Through the penalty line, but staying on the right-hand side of the track there. So then you are basically flat now until turn 2. So from this point until turn 2, you are flat out. Now, get some damage here, it's going to cost you loads and loads of time. So the key here really is to stay away from trouble. So you're going to see them start to back up now as the speed slows down to 55 kilometers an hour. I've got to say, I really love that livery on Remy's car. Really, really cool. Remy being a privateer as well, so he's got no team colours on there. It's just all about Remy. So here we head, and it's going to be down to him when he wants to put his foot on that accelerator and start this race. So heading towards the start-finish line now, and it is almost ready to go. And he starts to accelerate now, and we are away here at High Speed Ring. And already, OK Jake gets the jump on Remy up into first place. Almost before turn 1, in fact, way before turn 1. He's got the Bella line going through the corner as well. So they both caught everybody else napping. OK Jake particularly doing well. Chip Reese in 3rd place. Benjo already up to 4th place. Formula One dropping down the orders, down in 5th. Ghost in 6th, Toolshed in 7th. Igorski has leapfrogged Scarlet into 8th place. Scarlet in 9th. Dry Bones Malone has made some movement through there. Look at that. He's going side by side. There's some great movement from him. Stagman in 11th. Average Viper in 12th. There is a yellow flag who has been stricken already. Well, there's a little bit of damage on the front of Benjo's car, but he's up into 3rd place. Is that going to significantly slow him down? That's the problem. And I have forgotten to do something, and I do apologise. Forgot to put that up. He's up to 3rd, but he's got it. Or he had some damage. I think he's going to go in. Where is Benjo? We've lost some people from the race by the looks of things. We're red Xing out of the race. For whatever reason that might be, we are red Xing out. Okay. So what we do then is we will do the same out of the race, and we'll go back to this screen. Why not? Don't know what happened there, but we've all don't know. Doesn't say. Just says red. Red, red, red. Clearly some problems, so we go again. Everyone ticks back in. What I should probably do, I don't need to tick in. That's not going to cause a problem. So, full start then, and we go again. I don't quite know what happened there. See, that's the problem with being a commentator, is you are the last to find out any information. They're obviously all chatting to each other, and we're kind of stuck out here just waiting to find out what's going on. So leave you with that screen for the time being. That should be the lineup. There are a couple more out there than originally advertised, but they will, I think, slot in at the back of the pack behind everybody else. I think we went out pretty much perfectly in order, bar I think Igorski and Scarlet were the wrong way around, if I remember rightly. I could be wrong. So we go again. Let's it will let me jump in a sec. I'm not going to exit out because I want to go into the room. Right, so it all happens all over again. How about that? There we go. Right, so this is a high-speed ring in the G70, round 9, take 2. Again, we're going to do the formation lap, so we're going to wait for the right people to go through. So the first person to go through is Remy. We need to find Remy. Where is Remy? So Remy is the first one through. He will be followed by OK Jake. Sorry, he'll be followed by, oh yeah, OK Jake. Captain Jack's not here, is it? Then Formula One. Then Chip Reese, who I don't think, oh there he is. So Chip Reese will make his way up, slot in behind Formula One. There he is. Then we need to find Ghost, and there is Ghost in the correct place. Benjo, he's in the right place in 6th. Stangman next, then Toolshed. There we got Toolshed. No, we haven't. What happened there? Dry Bones Malone absolutely melting into the back of someone on a formation lap. You're going 70k for Christ's sake. Absolutely unnecessary. Absolutely, I don't get it. How can you drive around at 75k and still go into the back of someone? But you know. So again, another restart. Sometimes it's very hard to hold my tongue, you know. You can't you can't teach at that level of nuts. Right, third time lucky, eh? Let's see if they can drive around this track at 75 kilometres an hour without melting into the back of somebody. All you've got to do is... Okay. I'm not going to say it. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's just going in a straight line, isn't it? It's just going in a straight line. Well, we'll wait for everybody to jump back in again, and then we'll be ready. Well, I'm ready. There we go. You know, I said about this 90-minute race. Well, it might be a bit longer. But hang in there with me, guys. Hang in there with me. Right. Third time lucky. Surely you can't balls it up 3 times. But here we go. So we know what the lineup's got to be. Everyone by now knows where they've got to be. So we'll let that happen. We'll let them pull away. Right, we'll do this. We'll go back in again. Let's bring up all the relevant information. Right, so the first person out should be Remy. And there we go, Remy's in the right place. Now all he's got to do is continue at that speed around the track, followed by OK Jake. Same thing, Formula One. There he is, Chip Reese, he's managed it as well, there we go. Just keep that pace. Then we've got Ghost, we have indeed. Brilliant. Then Benjo. Yep, Benjo's there. And then we've got Stagman, of course we have. Toolshed, there he is. Igorski, he knows what he's doing. Scarlate, he clearly knows what he's doing. Average Viper. And then we've got Devlin and Dry Bones Malone. Let's see if he can make it round without crashing into the back of someone at 75 kilometres an hour. Right, here we go. Just got to make their way round. And as I said, it must be agonisingly slow, to be fair, on a formation lap, because it's such a... How you doing, Paul? Good to see you, buddy. We're on the third start mode. We've had 2 restarts so far. Not quite sure what happened in the first one, but I can tell you in the second one that someone managed to crash into the back of somebody else, going 75k on a formation lap around a track this wide. But I said about that about I've had my little dig already. Good of you to join us. So here we go. Everyone's in the correct order. Everyone's still in the room. We managed half a lap of racing. Half a lap we got out of the way. Hopefully this time we'll make it round all of 80 odd laps. It's going to be somewhere in the region of 80 odd laps here, because it's a very, very quick lap. And that Paul I was just talking to has just joined us. He is who you have to thank for the very, very awesome, very, very quick track guide that we put out today. So here we go. Remy will lead them out. Remember last time when he got started, OK Jake OK Jake and him, they both got the jump on everybody else, but OK Jake just slightly better and got the jump on the leader and made that move. So here we go. We're heading now towards the start-finish line, and we will see Remy get his foot down and lead them out. Hopefully this time defend from OK Jake. Here we go. There he goes. This time he doesn't get burned by OK Jake on the line. So Remy does start this race. He is in the lead. OK Jake in second. Chip Reese in third. Pretty much holding position. Although Formula One already dropping down the order. Benjo moves up one. He's into fifth already. Side by side with Ghost. They're swapping places at the moment. Benjo's on the outside line. Here we go into heading down towards the first braking zone. What happens here? Do we have a bit of carnage? Looks okay so far. Remy seems to be clean through. There is a little bit of carnage back there. Chip Reese is spinning. Was he caught? Everyone else looks to have got through pretty safely. But Chip Reese, big loser there. Where is he? Damage on both sides. Absolutely melted. Let's have anyone actually caught him. It looks like he just lost it. I see no one else with damage. Oh, there's a little bit of damage on the front of Formula One. To be fair, it was self-made problem. But Formula One up to second place. He couldn't have caught him because he's too far up the order there. And he did catch OK Jake there. Don't care what anybody says. That was an illegal move, and that's going to have to be looked at after the race. Formula One in the lead of this race, but unfairly in my estimation. Ghost is second. Benjo up to third. Good running from him. With all the carnage behind, he's side by side with Toolshed. Toolshed is already taking the lead there. Now, Average Viper's having to pit. He's got damage. Was he put into a wall? Who knows there? So Formula One in the lead, but should he finish the race there, I can't imagine he's going to make it out without a penalty. Ghost goes up into the lead of the race. Formula One drops down to second. There's going to be a lot of this going on because of the slipstream. Toolshed up to third. He was the winner last time out, but had a points deduction. There is Benjo running in fourth place, trying to avoid the carnage behind. Stagman in fifth. Dry Bones Malone this time through unscathed without hitting anybody. He's up to sixth place. And Igorski in seventh has got through safely. Then we've got a big gap back. There is Devlin. He's got some front end damage. We've got Remy. He's got some front end damage and a 1.5 second penalty. Chip Reese, we saw him hitting every single part of his car. He's in 10th place. He was the first person to get stricken. Scarlet's taken some front end damage, and that's devastating for his championship hopes because he is down in 11th place. He's got a 3-second penalty. He's got front end damage, and he is running way back. Okay, Jake makes the move on Scarlet. It's getting worse for him. Average Viper, he has been into the pits to repair some damage. He's running in last place, but he now has a very clean car, and off he goes. So much carnage on the first lap. It is Ghost at the moment from Stangman, from Toolshed. No, it's not. From Dry Bones Malone, who somehow has made his way up into 3rd place. It's all a go out front there at the moment. Is he going to make a move on Stangman? At the moment, it's 2 Canadians. We see Stangman riding that wall. Someone's been watching NASCAR. Dry Bones Malone face plants the wall. Absolutely melts it. And he's back, finally back on track. That was a big crash. Ghost is 2 seconds clear at the moment. Stangman, also from Canada. There's the 2 Canadians in the lead of this race at the moment. 1.4 seconds back to Igorski. Now, if the race were to finish now, this would be a massive blow to Scarlet's championship hopes because he is running way down the order while his title rival sitting comfortably at the moment in 3rd place. He has Toolshed just 8 tenths behind him. And Benjo running still in 5th place, 4.8 seconds back. So the front 4 starting to pull away. No, I don't think the barrier collisions are on, but heavy damage is. So once you hit the wall, you're screwed anyway. So I think that's punishment enough. So Formula One's going in for repairs. Dry Bones Malone's going to be in there for about a month. He hit that wall so hard. He's going to have to go to 3 different panel beaters to get those dents out. So the punishment is it's heavy damage. So you hit the wall, you're going to have to repair some damage. So we're on lap 5 already, and we have seen a lot of people hitting walls. I was going to keep notes of people who got damaged, but it's just so many. So it's been ridiculous. But the people that stayed out of trouble, Ghost, Stangman, Igorski, Toolshed, Benjo, have all avoided trouble. Benjo himself had a little bit of he's got a bit of damage on the front there. Is it really affecting his performance? Well, I would say so because he's already 5.3 seconds off the lead pack, and I'm not entirely sure that staying out with that damage is going to be helpful to him. His teammate Devlin just behind, 2.8 seconds. Average Viper already up to 7th. He went and repaired some damage, was right to the back, but already showing some incredible pace. A 1:16.8. It's only 7 tenths off the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.1, which is from Ghost. So that is some phenomenal pace early doors here. And when Benjo finally goes in to repair that damage, I think that's the wise choice. Losing so much time. And we see the Average Viper went in, repaired his damage, and he's come out and he's already moving through the order as we see them locking those brakes up into the final corner there. Formula One, he's running in 8th place now. He's had to pit to repair damage. Dry Bones Malone finally back on track, had to repair some damage. Remy, remember, he was in pole position in lap 5. He is already down in 10th place. Scarlet had to be going to repair. He's the current championship leader. He's put in a couple of really quick laps, but he is back in 11th place with a lot of work to do if he wants any chance of securing his championship. But as the racetrack starts to open up a little bit, the carnage is getting less and less. I've got to say, you go into a race like this, it's going to be difficult at best going into some of these corners. And, the wise thing is, you're racing for 90 minutes. If you're trying to win it on lap 3, lap 4, lap 5, then you kind of miss the point of the race. Back out. Just back out and let the guy ahead of you that's going to try and shove his way through 3 people. Let them do that. Let them worry about it. And then you'll be in a position now like Ghost is. Ghost running 3 seconds clear of the pack. He kept out of trouble, ignored all of the shenanigans, and there he is. Well, I have it on good authority that actually wall riding is not allowed. Because there was, before I put your video up, there was a a time trial video. I won't say who did it. In this car, using the wall ride method, where it was very, very much below the 1 minute 10. I mean, very much below. I was told with good authority that wall riding would be punished, but so far I've seen a few people doing it, so clearly it's allowed. But Ghost is already coming up to lap Chip Reese, and we're only on lap 7 here. I know it's a short lap, but Christ on a bike, that's crazy. But he's Formula 1 with the fastest lap, a 1:16.0. So it's not the guys out the front, or you'd expect to be out the front, that are putting in the fast time so far. But Igorski running very, very well. He avoided damage. He's running in second place. He might be 3 seconds off Ghost, but he's not racing Ghost or Stangman or Toolshed or Devlin. The only person, or in fact, he is racing Toolshed to an extent. Toolshed's running behind him in the championship, but the person he's racing on this racetrack right now is Scarlett. And if he wants any hope of winning the championship, that's the man he's got to beat. And he does go a little bit wide, clipping the wall there. That slowed him right down. And Stagman is going to make the move here up into second place. So a little bit hot in there, Igorski, and that just costs him a place. So Stagman moving up the order. Igorski, though, will have slipstream coming down the start-finish straight. There is Toolshed, winner last time out, suffered a penalty, which relegated out of the top 3, but he's certainly very, very quick. He is currently running 3rd in the championship, so he will want to have a good run, and the person he needs to beat is Igorski in front of him. He needs to beat Scarlett, obviously, if he wants to stand a chance, but he definitely needs to get ahead of Igorski, who's 5.5 seconds up the road at the moment. And already 10 seconds back, there is DSR Devlin. I was going to make a comment about DSR. I'm not going to make the comment here. Just suffice to know that the guy that runs that team is a thief. That's all you need to know. He's a dirty thief. 11 seconds back is DSR Devlin. He is actually racing for the ISA Racing Group. And I'm sure he'll be dropping that DSR very soon. So Toolshed has taken some damage. He's gone in to repair that damage. He will come out in 5th place. Yes, because Benjo, pretty much everybody else has been in the pits. So Benjo, been in and repaired, and already look at the difference in pace. 2 seconds a lap, 2 seconds he was losing a lap with that damage. So well worth coming in. If you can now keep it clean for a while, it's certainly going to benefit you. He is 2.7 behind Toolshed, who popped in. Yes, good night, mate. I'll enjoy, and yeah, check in tomorrow. Watch it tomorrow and see how you see what you think. Don't think anyone's going to get close to your time, though, mate. Thanks for joining me, buddy. That was PM10 Racing, who joined us for a little while before he snuck off to bed. So there's Benjo running 1.6 seconds behind Toolshed in 6th at the moment. Formula 1 currently with the fastest lap, a 1:16.0, showing very, very good pace at the moment. Very good pace. It's a shame that early on, when he was first out of the blocks, he didn't get caught up with shenanigans, and he didn't have that pace, because he would be dominating in front. And Igorski and Stagman are just swapping positions all the way through. There is Dry Bones Malone running in 8th place. He's 9 seconds back from Formula 1. He's got Average Viper, who has a 1.5 second penalty tucked in behind him. Average Viper as well is looking to muscle his way into the top 3 of this championship. We're here at round 9. He's still got a chance, but he's going to have to move up that order in order to do that. Current championship leader Scarlett, he comes into the pits. Average Viper to repair some damage. So that'll put Scarlett through, current championship leader. He's now 2.3 behind Dry Bones Malone. Remy 22 seconds back. He was, remember, him and OK Jake were the front two. 3.7 back to OK Jake. And Chip Reese brings up the rear, and he's 36 seconds back. So the leader, Ghost, 4.5 seconds now, his lead. I was going to say he's done the fastest lap of the race with a 1:16.027, but instead he does a 1:15.801, taking that fastest lap away from Formula 1, who just had it. So we're starting to see the sub 1:16 laps here. I thought this was going to be about the pace on the soft tyres. So actually, thinking it now, I didn't think people were going to go this hard, this early. You know, we've got a long way to go as Ghost riding that wall for all that cares, but he makes it through. He's past OK Jake. I didn't think wall riding was allowed, but it seems to be that it is. So Igorski back around Stagman again, but he can't pull away from him, and that's that's hurting the challenge for Ghost, because at the moment their battle is allowing Ghost just to float off into the distance. Because Igorski at the moment is pulling Stagman around, and then Stagman will use that slipstream, and he'll get past Igorski. Then Igorski, and it's going to be an endless cycle of basically just overtaking each other, while Ghost in front of them is just absolutely disappearing off into the sunset. Using OK Jake as a little bit of a buffer there, give him a bit of slipstream, but he'll come through. Stagman will follow him through. They're your top three. Ghost from Igorski, from Stagman. It's 5.7 seconds, and then it's nothing. Literally nothing. When you're talking about a track like this, that gap is nothing. Devlin, now, would you believe that already on lap 12 of this race, that the man in fourth place is 24 seconds almost. 24 seconds back from the front three. And in he goes into the pits to repair damage. Everybody crashing around here. It's insanity. Absolute carnage. Are we racing or are we banger racing? Clearly banger racing. So 26 seconds. Toolshed now in fourth place. Benjo still sitting in fifth place. Pretty comfortable at the moment. Putting out some decent times. 4.1 seconds back from Toolshed. I've got to get a sore throat from all this excitement. Excuse me while I wet the whistle. So there is Benjo running in fifth. Dry Bones Malone made his way up to sixth place, but he is being challenged now by the championship leader Scarlet. Scarlet trying to make that move. He's got the outside line here, which actually is the fastest line. Didn't have it coming together. Oh, that looked like a little kind of rubbing his racing kind of scenario, but Scarlet is through. So it is Isa from Dry Bones Malone, and then another Isa driver in Devlin. So Ice Racing Group running quite well here. If Devlin can move up, that'll be the three of them. They can maybe buffer Scarlet along a bit. Although Scarlet's got 11.4 seconds to make up to catch his teammate Benjo. Dry Bones Malone tucked in behind Scarlet there, and he's going to be getting a nice little toe off of him as they come round the bend here. Now, we are 17 minutes in. The pit window doesn't open for some time yet, and the pace is hot. And you've got to wonder if they're pushing a little bit too hard early on. These guys at the back obviously need to. And Dry Bones Malone will regain sixth place from that slipstream. He's taking the inside line there, which is slow. It's not necessarily the quickest way around there. But he's taken sixth place. And what'll happen here is Scarlet will just tuck him behind, and then he will regain sixth place. Dry Bones Malone on those brakes. Does get it turned nicely. This is where Scarlet needs to make the move, because otherwise he's going to have to wait until the next lap before he gets that place back. But maybe that's the idea. If you take it there, you know you're going to give up slipstream in a couple of corners' time. This is actually quite smart. He's sitting in there just behind. He knows that in a minute he's going to have plenty of straight line to take Dry Bones Malone, and there's nothing Dry Bones Malone will be able to do about it. So as they come round here, this is where Scarlet needs to make the move before he gives up any slipstream. So out of the corner, then make the move with the slipstream, and then there's nothing Dry Bones Malone can do to stop him. He's trying to break that slip, but can't do anything about it. And actually Scarlet is he's being closed on by his teammate Devlin. Now, can he help them by working together? That'd be something if they start to work together. But Scarlet not making that move on Dry Bones Malone. Now, that could be because he's just happy to sort of sit in there, save some fuel, save some tyres. He knows it's a long race. There's plenty to do. He wouldn't be where he is in the championship if he wasn't playing the long game. There we got Devlin. He's closing up now 3 seconds for his teammate Scarlet. Nearly lost the back end of it there, though. Formula One, who's been putting in some blistering lap times, but falling off the pace straight after he puts in the 15.8. Drops off the pace. Ghost, still the fastest man out there, 15.76 now. Average Viper He was my outside favourite for this race, to be fair, but came a bit of a cropper, had to pit, repair some damage, currently running in 10th, 14 seconds back, and he's being lapped already, which is a worrying sign for later on in this race. The pole sitter Remy back in 11th place. He's 23 seconds behind Average Viper. He has got OK Jake, who was behind him on the grid, just taking the position from him. Why did Remy slow up so much then? Did he hit the brakes too much? Because OK Jake absolutely breezed past him. And he's got some damage, but it's actually OK Jake that's got the damage, not Remy. So I'm a little bit. I don't know what happened there. It's almost as though he just put the brakes on too much and then let him through. And Chip Reese still running in last place. But out in front, there's your leader, Ghost. He is 7.3 seconds clear. And coming up behind Average Viper to lap him, which is phenomenal performance from Ghost. Bear in mind that Ghost was 6th or 5th on the grid because he didn't have Captain Jack out there. So he started 5th on the grid, avoided all that early carnage, stayed completely out of the way, and since then been putting in some very, very consistent laps. Although he has been using, there's been studious use of that wall on the exit. Is what it is. I didn't realise it was allowed, but it is, and so he's doing it. Igorski 7.6 seconds behind. He has managed to drop out of the range of Stagman, so no longer will he be giving up any slipstream. His job right now is just to get those times in, and look at the consistency in those laps. There's a reason why he has been a consistent contender in that top 3. If you look at those very, very well grouped lap times, that's Max Verstappen-ish. That is very, very solid performance so far. It's whether he can close or goes. The thing is, because it's such a short lap, and because it's going to be so difficult with gaps of like 7-8 seconds, particularly at this stage of the race, to make any inroads into it. But there's Stagman. He is hanging on in 3rd place. Now, bear in mind, this top 6, they are 26 seconds. Stagman is ahead of Toolshed. That's that's almost half a lap between him. Well, I mean, he is just coming up to the first braking zone, and there is Toolshed coming up behind to lap Chip Reese, just crossing the start-finish line. It's a big gap. Excuse me, 7.6 seconds back to Benjo. Benjo started in 6th. He's up a place into 5th place. He is 9.5 seconds ahead of his teammate Scarlet. Scarlet just coming around, lapping OK Jake. He's got some work to do though, but he has dropped Dry Bones Malone just over a second behind him. He won't be getting enough slipstream to make any inroads. He needs to up his pace if he wants to catch him. Pace is very similar though. Currently running in 7th. There he is, Dry Bones Malone. He's got Devlin. Has closed that gap down by a second to 2 seconds now. So he's off up the road after his teammate. Lighting up those tyres through turn 2. Formula One using the wall to very good effect, with a personal best first sector there as well. He is 17 seconds clear of Average Viper. He had to go and do some repairs. It's really cost him. He's in his own little piece of racetrack at the minute, just for him. 17 seconds ahead to Formula One, and almost half a lap ahead of Chip Reese in 11th place. Chip Reese, who's currently running just ahead of Toolshed, but Toolshed's in 4th. It just goes to show how quick it's been at the front compared to the back of this. But now, I mean, now you can see all through the order, the lap times are all very similar from front to back. They're all running in the mid-16s. But the early carnage is what cost them. And that's why I asked the question, is why you would make crazy moves in the first few corners and get involved in any damage just for the sake of a position or two. In a rate, you're going to be racing for 80 odd laps, and on lap 2 and 3 you're trying to chuck it in ridiculous situations. And Average Viper, with his damage, is going into the pits, and he's picked up a 3-second pit lane penalty. It's not a good day for him. Not a good day for Tom in the slightest. And for some reason, Chip Reese is fighting Toolshed, but he's not holding him up, so not a biggie here. But he can't hold him up. There's a blue flag for him there. He needs to recognise that the car behind is lapping him. You know, you're perfectly entitled to unlap yourself as long as you're not blocking that car. But to be fair, that is only serving to really help Toolshed, because Toolshed can use that slipstream to save a bit of fuel, to look after his tyres. Because the key here is what you want to do in the first stint here is you want to basically, you know, it's a 10-minute pit window. If you're running the mediums in the first stint, you want to be coming in as late as possible into that stint so that your tyres are fresh for the second stint. And let's be fair, tyres and fuel are not a huge problem here. Yeah, I mean, if you over push with the fuel, you might find you're struggling a little bit, but I think the tyres are going to hold out very, very well. Even the soft tyres are going to hold out very, very well here. But you know, you want to be running. I suppose possibly you could look at it the other way. You want to be running the soft tyres for as long as possible. So if you're on those mediums, you'll come in early to get the softs if you think they'll last. But the issue I think for me is going to be fuel. The earlier you pit, the harder you're going to make it for yourself on fuel later down the line. You want to burn as much of the fuel as possible, so you can put as much in as possible for the second stint of this race. But Chip Reese did a good job actually to try and unlap himself. He's got a long way to go. He wants to completely unlap himself, but he's staying ahead at the moment of Toolshed in 4th place. OK Jake in 12th, and he's got Remy for company. So OK Jake has finally overtaken Remy. They were 1-2. They are still battling it out. Back marker battles for them too. But they were battling it out at the front. Now they're battling it out at the back, but they are still racing. And we've lost. Have we lost someone? There we go, because Chip Reese is up in 11th. Of course he is. Remy, OK Jake at the back of that. So Ghost still in the lead of this race. There he is. He opened up that gap to 10 seconds. Just put in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:15.7. This is looking very, very good for Ghost. I tell you who else is looking really good for at the moment with how they're shaping out. It's this man here, Igorski, currently 10 points behind Scarlett for the championship, but he's looking at the moment very, very strong there in second place. Apologise for creaking my chair, he's oiling. He's looking very, very good there in second place at the moment, and second place is a good capture of points for him if he stays there. Of course, he's got to stay up there for it to count for anything. But yeah, so second place is worth 16 points to him. 10 points behind Scarlett. At the moment, Scarlett running in 6th, which is only worth 10 points. So that will cut that lead down a little bit. Well, a little bit. It will cut it down to just 4 points if it stays as it is. There's no guarantee that will happen. There's lots that can still happen. We're only 21 laps into a race that is going well beyond 40 laps. But it is what it is. But at the moment, the podium is very Canada heavy. Ghost from Igorski, from Stangman. Stangman only 1.2 seconds back. He is hanging with Igorski, where you've got Ghost disappearing off into the sunset. You've got Stangman sticking with Igorski. It could be they are on very differing strategies, and we will find out what sort of strategies they're running in about 12 or 13 minutes time. You will know for certain what everybody is doing. 31 seconds back, there is Toolshed. It looks like he has finally shaken off his back marker buddy in Chip Reese, and he is free to try and chase down Stangman. A little bit of lag there on Toolshed's car, but I imagine that's because he is he comes from the land down under. His compatriot, not his teammate, but it's certainly his compatriot, Benjo, is 8.5 seconds back, and he clips the wall coming through there. picks up a penalty, so there is wall penalties on. Spins, he's damaged his car. That is a devastating blow for Benjo. Feel your pain, buddy. Dry Bones Malone comes through. Scarlet comes through. He's got a lot of damage. He's going to have to repair that. So 3 seconds worth of wall penalties. I don't quite understand putting wall penalties. If the damage is on, surely you've already been punished enough. But, you know, it is what it is. But there comes his teammate. Devlin is through. This is absolute devastation for Benjo. Formula One goes through. Really, really down on power. He's going to have to nurse that into the pits, get that damage repaired, and I hope he can do something to solve this problem. Was looking so comfortable as well, sitting there in 5th place, and I know he was really looking forward to this race because we did speak earlier in the week. But you know, them's the breaks. This is the problem. Racing is racing, and it is what it is. So Viper, there he is. The yellow flag is out for who? Who is stricken? Difficult to tell. But Average Viper running in 10th place. He has just... Now this just goes to show the pace difference between some of these cars, because he's just lapped the guy in 13th. That's Remy running in 13th, and he's just lapped him. That's because people are having to go in and repair. He's had to go in a number of times to repair Average Viper. So not having a great day at the office is he. Chip Reese running 11th. OK Jake in 12th. And Remy, who was our pole sitter, he's got the coolest looking car, but he is in 13th place and in the pits again for some repairs. Not looking great. But this, if you want to talk about the opposite of not looking great, here it is. This is looking awesome. 15.5 seconds is the current fastest lap, and it's from this man here, Formula One. No, it's not. It's 15.54 by Formula One. So it was 15.5 by Ghost, and then immediately smashed by Formula One with a 15.4. So it's strange, isn't it, that you've got the two people fighting out for fastest lap. One is sitting in 1st, the other is sitting in 8th. And what could have been if Formula One had not had to repair some damage? So there is Ghost running in 1st place. He's now nearly 12 seconds clear of Stagman, who's got his way around Igorski finally. So I don't want to lose my voice. And that's because Igorski's had a smash. Picked up a penalty, had a smash. So, just goes to show how things can change so quickly. Stagman's now 18 seconds clear in 2nd place. So, do you know what? The key here, it's not pace. The pace is all very similar. Every single driver out here can put in a low 116. Alright, so every driver here can certainly put in a low 117. Nearly every driver here can put in a low 16. I'm not going to name names, but nearly every driver here can put in a low 16, and that's a 115.5 from Ghost again. But yeah, so everyone here can put in a low 116. So pace isn't the problem. It's keeping the car away from the walls. It's consistency. And I'm beginning to sound like a broken record because I talk about this a lot on the streams. That it makes a difference, and it really does make a difference. If I look back and I don't win races, so, you know, I'm in most of the time when I'm racing, and I don't do it very often. I'm racing with my little group, my little Black Flag group, and you know, I've got people like PM10 who does the videos and some top drivers in my group. So I do end up being where sort of Remy, OK Jake, Chip Reese. You know, there's a few of us that race around the back there when we're racing with those guys. But when we have a good race, it's because we were consistent. It's not because we were quick, it's because we were consistent. And often that's what makes a difference. And that, I mean, Ghost has been quick. There's no question about it. He's been quick. He's putting in fastest laps. But the reason that he's way out in front and Stagman is way out in 2nd, it's not because they've been quick. It's because they stayed out of trouble. They haven't run into other cars. They haven't messed around with walls. They've been consistent, and with that tried to be a bit quicker, but not made any silly errors. And that is absolute key, because every single person on the racetrack, except for those two, have had to repair some damage. Every single one. Toolshed obviously has been out for a while now. Igorski's just been in. Scarlet, Drybones, Malone, all of them. Every single person has had to go in and repair the damage. And that is why now we've got Ghost 13.2 seconds clear and Stagman 35 nearly seconds clear. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. On a track like High Speed Ring, we're going to go through the pit process, and everyone's going to go and put on their fuel and they're going to put on their tyres. And if these two stay out of the wall, that's not going to change. Absolutely not going to change. And there's another yellow flag. So someone else hasn't learned the lesson, has gone into a wall. 4.5 seconds of penalties there for Remy. That's another crash from him. Okay, Jake, also with damage. Did they ever come in together? That is very, very possible. But Remy had a coming together with Average Viper last week as well. It's becoming a frequent issue. Chip Reese running in 11th. He's managed to keep it clean for a while, which is good, which has allowed him to move up from 13th to 11th. There is Average Viper. He's had a few touches with the wall today. As OK Jake is into the pits alongside Remy. Average Viper. Oh, that was a big slide. 1.5 second penalty. I think that was for touching the wall, was it? Benjo down to 9th place. We saw that big spin from him. Lots of damage. He's had to go and repair. He's dropped down the order behind his teammate Devlin. There he is. They've got different. Oh no, they haven't. There is Devlin running in 8th place. 1.1 seconds behind the fastest man on the track, Formula One, with a 15.4 he's done. And then we've got just ahead of him, Drybones Malone. Is there a move on? He's been very quick as Formula One today. He's put a few of the fastest laps in. And we've got a bit of a three-way battle there. Scarlet loses out to Drybones Malone. Just sails through. Formula One sitting in that slipstream. Is he going to follow Drybones Malone through? Side by side he is with Scarlet. Tucks in. So Scarlet loses 2 places there with slipstream. So he was pulling along 2 drivers who have managed to get ahead of him. He is going side by side with Drybones Malone. He's got the inside line coming up into the slowest section of the track. There is Formula One through. There is Scarlet through. He makes the overtake. They keeps it wide though. And round he goes and back up into 6th place. Is he going to be able to retake 5th from Formula One when they come round onto this straight section? Got to go through this little tunnel. It is flat out from here. This is where the opportunity is. Is he going to lift? Is he going to hold it? Just a little tiniest of lifts coming through there. But if you've got the right slipstream, you might have to do that. So here he is tucked in behind Formula One. I don't think he's close enough though. Formula One's been very, very quick today. Very, very quick. Drybones Malone, 1.2 ahead of Scarlet. Scarlet not able to tack on the back of that. He's not far off it, but not quite close enough now. The gap to Igorski is 5.8 seconds. These 3 battling it out in that midfield, trying to put themselves on the back of that top 3. That's got to be their aim, is to get away from the midfield and into Formula One, riding that wall like a good one. And look just how much advantage that wall ride gives you. So much advantage coming out of that corner. Look at that. I mean, that's increased his gap quite significantly from one corner. And you have to question, is that how he's getting such good lap times? Just using that wall to shoot him round the corner. And it's a shame actually I didn't know you could do that, because I would have got I would have used I had another track guide video which used the wall as a method of getting around, and it was significantly quicker than the one that I put out. But I thought you couldn't do it, so I didn't put it out. But you live and learn. So there we go. So there is Formula One in 5th, Scarlet 6th, Drybones Malone in 7th, and we've got Devlin getting a lot closer to that. That three-way battle is becoming a four-way battle with two of the Ice Racing Group in there. So that could prove to be quite an interesting battle coming up later. But let's go through the full order as we are approaching the pit window. So as we are approaching the pit window, it is about that time, I think. Let's get rid of this. We can see what strategies everyone is running. So here we go. This is the current state of affairs. We have, I can tell you now you can see it, every single person on the track started on the medium tyres. Absolutely spot on. It was the only sensible strategy. Anything else would have just been ridiculous. You might have pulled out a massive, massive lead, but you would have got caught in the second stint. So yes, mediums was absolutely the way going forward, and that's what everyone has done. So your current leader, he's 17 seconds clear. That's Ghost. Him and Stangman have stayed completely out of trouble, and which is why they are 16 seconds and 36 seconds ahead respectively. Toolshed had a couple of issues early on, has stayed in that mix. Igorski had a little wobble, and that has promoted Toolshed back up to third place. 36 seconds back, 53 seconds off the lead though. That's almost a lap behind the leader. 1 minute 17, 1 minute 15, 16 laps. He's almost an entire lap behind the leader, and he's in third. That is just how much difference staying out of trouble makes on this lap. Igorski, he is 5 seconds back from Toolshed in fourth place. Everyone looking pretty good on there. No one's really overdone it on the fuel either. I think Ghost and Stangman early on, I'm going to tell you now, early on, Ghost was burning through that fuel at a rate that was looking very, very dangerous. But did rein it in a little bit. Luckily, the rate he was using his fuel early on, he'd already be run out. But he did look after it once he sort of got into that position. So Formula One, who's been looking very racy all day, up to fifth place. He is he's been using that very clever technique of that wall ride technique to come out of turn 2, which has been really beneficial to him. Very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Very, very smart use of that wall ride technique. Scarlett is 2.6 seconds behind him. He is vying for championship here. And you see Devlin making a move with Dry Bones Malone, nearly losing the back end of that car. Dry Bones Malone's going to have to come back at him because he would have lost a little bit of momentum there. But he's just going to stay stuck in behind for the time being, and will make a move very, very soon. He's going to be tucked in that slipstream quite easily. So Benjo, the first to blink straight into those pits to get on those soft tyres. Now I think if you're Ghost, stay out. Absolutely stay out until you have to come in. Or Stagman, if I were either of those two, I mean they've actually gone like full send last few laps actually, but I would stay out if you've got the fuel to do so. Yes, the soft tyres are quicker, but you want to have them as grippy as possible. Zagorski just coming through to lap OK Jake, and I think that's for the second time. Third time. So we are, so I said 80 odd laps, didn't I? I was a little bit out with that, 60 odd laps. 67, 68 laps. Let's call it 67, 68 laps for these leaders. 68 laps for the leaders and 60 laps for the guys running around at the back of the pack. So we've got Ghost 18 seconds clear of Stangman, 38 seconds clear of Toolshed. They are yet to pit. Igorski is 4.3 seconds back, just having gone round Remy. 1.8 seconds he's got on this guy, Formula One. And this is going to be one to watch when he goes on those soft tyres. I've seen the times he's done already. He's just done a 1:15.1 on the medium tyres. I'd be afraid, be very afraid if I was Igorski. Scarlett, he's running in 6th place, 3.9 seconds behind Formula One. And that's also the medium tyres, of course. Fastest lap Fibber 1:15.6. He's going to be coming in next lap for a set of tyres. And there is Formula One in for his softs. Devlin running in 7th, just behind his teammate. And they are Just over a second apart with Dry Bones Malone second behind them, coming through. Average Viper, one more lap for him before he comes in. He's running 9th. He's almost a whole lap behind. Well, let's have a look just how far behind they are. So there we've got Ghost on lap 1. Stanman into the pit, sorry, on lap 35. Stanman's in the pit, so he won't start lap 35 yet. Toolshed's on lap 34. Igorski, Scarlet, Devlin, Dry Bones Malone, Formula Juan when he finally gets out of pits. Average Viper is a lap further back. That's a big spin, big smash. Luckily, he hasn't been in the pits yet. He's got to go in now. So he'll be going in. So Stagman is in. Toolshed still hasn't caught him up, and he's lighting up those tyres. But I think he's coming in as well now. He goes into the pits. So Ghost stays out. This gap is going to be humongous. And he's just tacking on the back of Benjo, ready to drag himself round and into the pits for his stop. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be like 1% fuel, if that, when he finally does get in there. Told you. I don't often get things right, but when I do, that's brilliant. So 1 minute is the current gap to Gorski. Gorski still hasn't pit yet. He is staying out. He wants to go at least the half distance before he comes in. He's done that. He'll be coming in at the end of this lap. Looking pretty racy so far. And to be fair, taking nothing out of those medium tyres, really. So as I said, this is not really time sensitive. It's about fuel here. And I'll tell you what, whoever sat down and worked out for every single track, you know, the fuel and tyres has to be like for this particular track. I'll tell you what, you're spot on with the fuel here. There's a couple of tracks where you know, in Daytona it was a nightmare. A fuel saving nightmare. But here, absolutely spot on for it. A little bit of fuel saving, but it hasn't needed a huge amount. Devlin and Scarlet battle it out. They're compatriots. They're friends. They race for the same team. You couldn't ask for a better matchup, and that you know, because they're friends and because they're from the same country, because they're from the same team, there's going to be a little bit of competition there. There's always going to be one want to beat the other. And it looked like Devlin, for some reason, is ahead of Scarlet. That won't stay that way. So Ghost has now come out. The gap is 5 point nothing seconds. But Igorski still hasn't come in, of course. So Stagman 19 seconds back. So he's lost a little bit of time in the pit stop cycle, strangely. But picking up a lovely slipstream from Benjo in 9th. Benjo looked a lot great early promise. And then it all went horribly wrong. And he hasn't really managed to recover well from it. But that could be said for a lot of drivers out there today. So where are we at further down the order? Toolshed, he's been in. The only one in that top 4 so far that hasn't pit is Igorski. So we'll see where he ends up. This, for me, is going to be the man to watch. He's 3.8 seconds behind Toolshed. He has been looking dangerously quick all day. He was doing 15 ones on the medium tyres. I've got no question in my mind that he's going to be doing sub 13 laps at some point in this race. As the fuel starts to get scrubbed off, and he starts to using that wall ride technique as well, he's definitely going to be sub 13. Devlin running in 6th. What happened to Scarlet? How did Scarlet come out so far behind his teammate? He went in front of him. That doesn't make any sense. This is one thing about PD that does pee me off a bit. Actually, it pisses me off. That you can go in the pits, fill up exactly the same amount of fuel, change the exact same amount of tyres, and come out so far away from each other. Or swap places. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, there was a little differential in the fuel, but not that much for Scarlet to essentially be nearly 3 seconds behind, or 2 seconds behind his teammate. Dry Bones Malone separates them now. He's in 7th. It is 3/10 back to Scarlet. Can't imagine Scarlet's not going to get this move done, surely. He certainly needs to at the moment. desperately wanted to sew the championship up a week early, give himself a nice, easy last race. But as it stands at the moment, it is not so. He is currently running in 8th place, some way behind his championship contenders. Toolshed running in the top 3. He's currently 3rd in the championship. Igorski running in 5th place. He is currently 2nd in the championship. And Scarlet current championship leader running in 8th. So from the back of the pack, Remy is going to have to go in again and do some repairs. Okay, Jake, massive repairs for him. So he will lose out here to Remy. We see Stangman going through again on these guys. Chip Reeves running in 11th place. He has pit. Average Viper has pit. Currently running in 10th. 51 seconds up the road, but 35 seconds behind Benjo. If Benjo keeps this clean, this could be a very, very difficult gap to close down. He himself 25 seconds back from his teammate Scarlet. So some big work for him to do. Talking of the devil, there is Scarlet. 8 tenths behind Dry Bones Malone, who himself is only 7 cents behind Devlin, the friend, compatriot, and teammate of Scarlet. There he is. He's 7.2 seconds behind Igorski. Igorski is vying to try and snatch the championship away from his from Devlin's teammate and friend. 2 seconds up the road is Toolshed, just outside that top 3, and Formula Juan has got past him. Can he come back at him? I'll tell you what, I called it quite early. I thought Formula Juan was a Juan to watch, and he has been Juan, really fast driver, and I'm really sorry for my puns about Juan Poet, and I don't even know it. He's pulling away. He's not going to get caught by Toolshed, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Toolshed is currently one of the best in this championship, running in the top 3. But today it's all about this man here, Formula Juan. He's got the fastest lap of the race of 15.0. If he wins sub 13, I wouldn't be surprised. He's using that really clever wall ride technique to get himself around the track. So absolutely brilliant from him. He's done that pretty much every lap, and it's really making a difference. It's saving him fuel. It's absolutely catapulting him out. And so there's another yellow flag ahead of him. That could be anyone. He's up already behind Remy and straight past again. 40 seconds he's got to make up to Stagman. It's a lot to make up, but what's the Formula 1 doing? He can do 15 zeros, 15.5, 15 sevens. There was a 15.6 just now from Stagman. Did he have any slipstream there? Don't know, is the question. Is the answer, sorry. The question was, did he have any slipstream? He's 40 seconds ahead of Formula 1. Basically, I think Ghost and Stangman are in a brilliant position now. And I don't just mean because they're first and second. They can both relax. And I mean really relax. Neither of them have had any sort of accident. None of them. In fact, the only 2 drivers out there that haven't had to go in and repair their car in any way, shape or form. They stayed out of trouble right from the outset. And that has proven to be an absolute brilliant masterstroke, because it wasn't about barging your way through on turn 1, lap 1. It was just about hang back, let all the people in front of you make stupid mistakes, let the people in front of you come together, or smash off the walls, or do whatever you're going to do. And this is what happens. This is the culmination of that. You've got the Canadian Ghost and the Canadian Stangman leading this race. 20 seconds Ghost is ahead. Stangman 40 seconds ahead of Formula Juan. But as I said, these two just can relax. They don't have to worry. They're lapping at a very good pace. They're on the soft tyres. There's plenty of fuel there for them. And that's the pit window firmly shut now, so we can put this back up. Everyone's been in. They've got plenty of fuel on board, plenty of tyres to play with. They've just got to get this round and just make sure they look after that fuel now for the rest of the race, not push too hard. And the thing is, because the gap's so big, you can monitor that gap, and you can say, okay, well, look, at the moment, I mean, if I'm Ghost, this is what I'm thinking. I think, okay, look, he's 20 seconds behind me. That's that's a significant portion of this lap. I mean, look here, so 20 seconds is how much? It's the difference between coming out of turn 1 and crossing the start-finish line. That's quite a distance. I mean, I know it's quick, but it's still quite a distance. So you're thinking, okay, I can let that fall out to a 15-second gap if I so wish. There is that in the bag. And then if it does fall to 15 seconds, I will then open it back up again. But I can look after my fuel, I can look after my tyres, and make sure that if I need them later on, they are there for me. And their pace is so good. They're coming up now behind this battle for 5th between Igorski, Scarlet, Devlin, Dry Bones Malone. Those guys there. Stagman's in a very unique position in that he has a repair pit stop in hand to Formula 1. So even if he does make a little cock up and hits a wall, it's going to cost him nothing. Absolutely nothing. But there is Formula 1 on a charge, this boy. He has no intention of settling for 3rd. He will push to the very, very end if he has to. And he's using that wall to very good effect to do that. 2 seconds clear now of Toolshed, nearly 3 seconds clear of Toolshed. Starting to pull away. But at the moment, we've got a battle going here. Toolshed 1.2 seconds ahead of Igorski. These two are 2nd and 3rd in the championship. Igorski 2nd, Toolshed 3rd. They're both ahead of Scarlet, who is running in 6th. He's currently 1st in the championship. Now, this isn't good enough for Igorski and Toolshed. What they really, really need is a top 3. And Scarlet to have a much worse day than he's having. He didn't start great. It was a bit of a disaster for him early on, if I'm completely honest. But he has started to ramp up the pace and started to find a little bit of rhythm. Just moving up that order. It's going to be a very... and I'm going to be brutally honest here. I don't think we're going to see many more overtakes here. Other than the occasional one like here, we'll see. And Devlin's not even attempting the overtake. That is brilliant teamwork. He's bump drafting his teammate up the road to try and close that gap on Igorski. Devlin knows he can't win the championship, but he knows that Scarlet can. And that benefits him, it benefits his friend, and it benefits his teammate. And that is the absolute perfect scenario there. Is you use that bump draft to get your teammate a little bit closer to his rival. Will it be enough? I'm not entirely convinced it will be. And obviously they can work together to keep themselves ahead of Dry Bones Malone here, because Devlin can bump draft Scarlet. Scarlet can give Devlin a little bit of slipstream. It's a symbiotic relationship here now, a perfectly symbiotic relationship, and where they can work together for the rest of this race. And if they don't even make up another position, they can guarantee they don't lose them. Did we just have someone leave or join? I think we had someone join. Welcome to the room, whoever you are. You're not getting racing now because we've already started. So there is Dry Bones Malone. He's 2.5 behind that battle. He's tucked in behind Ghost. There is Ghost. Now we're looking at a battle between the current championship leader and Dry Bones Malone, and the chase down of the guy in 5th, Igorski. And there is Ghost just behind him on the racetrack. Look at that. Phenomenal performance from him. The gap is 22 seconds. He's not even settling. Now, there was me saying you should settle for that 20 seconds and just kind of monitor it and let it drop out if it needs to. And he's just making it bigger. He doesn't actually care. He wants to just get faster and faster and faster and finish his race in the lead a couple of laps ahead of everybody else. And good on you if that's what you want to do. Stagman, gaps come down a little bit from Formula 1. Is it coming down enough to catch him? So, he did last 3 laps with a 16.2, a 16.7, a 16.1. Formula 1 has been steady 15.5, 15.6, 15.9, and that for Formula 1 was a 15.0. So he is closing, but it's taking him some time to do it. But a second faster on that lap, almost a second faster on the lap before, half a second. Let's just say, Devlin's in the pits. He's got a little bit of front end damage. Did he bump draft Skyler a little bit too hard, or did he have was there a mistake there? That is unfortunate, shall we say, because they could have worked together and gone well there. So that's what I was doing, working this out. So what are we? We're just coming up to the 60-minute mark. We've done 45 laps. So you're looking at another 15 laps here, aren't we? In the next, yeah. So yeah, so I know actually it's more than that. So 22, so 67. That's, yeah, so about another 22, 20. So let's say 23 laps. For argument's sake, 23 laps, right? 37 seconds in 23 laps. He's going to have to be doing a second and a half a lap to catch him. And he's not doing that. He's doing a second here and a second there. It's not going to be enough for Formula One. He's going to require mistakes from Stagman. And I think Stagman must have done the math by now. He knows that he's going to need... He knows that every lap he puts on is more time per lap that Formula One needs to catch him. So that is going to be key about how he looks after that. He's pulling away, though, from Toolshed. Toolshed now 5.3 seconds back in 4th place. Now, here's the question. Is it Gorski closing? So we've got, what do we got there? 16-1, 16-6 and a 15-9 last 3 laps for Toolshed. A 16-8, a 17-8 and a 16-0. So actually Gorski's not looking super quick today. Now bear in mind that I've interviewed him in every race I've done apart from last week. Round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7. I interviewed this guy. Round 8 he didn't make the top 3, although eventually he did really promoted after the interviews. Didn't get to talk to him that time round. And here we are, round 9, and it looks like I'm talking to him again. Or maybe talking to him again if he can get past Toolshed and then closing Formula 1. But I don't know if I will be. I can't see how he's going to make that up because he's not closing up on Toolshed. But what's important for him is that he does get ahead of Toolshed, because Toolshed has been looking racy last couple of weeks, and but for that penalty last week would be right on the top of Vigorski in championship stakes. So I think he'll in order to keep his championship hopes alive, he needs to try and make up that deficit. Scarlett at the moment 6.1 seconds back, currently leading the championship. He's going to lose a couple of points to Toolshed, a couple of points to Igorski, but he is still at this rate going to go into the final race 8 points clear. And that I mean, if you're 8 points clear going into the final race, you know that you just need to finish. If your rival finishes first, you've just got to finish in 5th or 6th, and the job's done. So he knows what he's got to do, but currently running in 6th place. Dry Bones Malone 6.9 seconds back, despite no longer having Devlin there to help him out. Dry Bones Malone has not been able to close that gap on Scarlett. In fact, this gap is opening. So maybe that's going to be his place on the racetrack for the rest of this race. 24 seconds, the gap back to Isa Devlin. I'm calling DSR Devlin because DSR is run by a thieving Tomac. 10 seconds he's clear of Isa Benjo. So we've got Isa, Dry Bones Malone, Isa Viper. Couldn't help it, sorry. 52 seconds. That is the gap between Benjo and Average Viper. And I'm really surprised, because before this race, looking at previous performances from Viper, I kind of had him in my head as a kind of outside bet for this. I thought he might be the guy that would throw the cat amongst the pigeons and maybe get involved in this championship race. Kind of like, he's not going to win the championship now. He's still on what certainly was before this race, still on guards for a top 3. I think it's going to be very difficult now to do that, the gap between him and the current top 3. But he was an outside bet for me, but he didn't have a great start, and it was no fault of his own. I mean, if you look at his pace is not super far off that of and the fastest man on track, Formula One. And certainly not that far off the sort of times Ghost put it in. But he got into a little bit of trouble, a little bit of damage, and it makes a difference. Absolutely makes a difference there. So I don't argue, it's made more of a difference here than it has on any other racetrack. Chip Reese is running in 11th place. He's so far now, I mean, he's over a lap behind Average Viper. So far, in fact, they're not even giving a time anymore. He's on lap 47. 3 laps back is OK Jake. 7 minutes off the lead. That's some significant time. And Remy in last place, 4.2 seconds back. 7 minutes 19 off the lead. These two can still race each other. It's still on. Remy's got quite significant damage there, though, so it's going to be very difficult to do anything about it with that kind of damage. And in he comes to repair that damage. But credit to these guys for sticking in it. Absolutely credit to them. Because, you know, we've seen races this season where people have had that much damage, been running around the back and just quit. And me's not like that. So there we go. That gap, actually, for Ghost has now dropped to 15 seconds. So he has dropped off the pace a little bit. That is a fuel management thing. Absolutely got to be. Dry Bones Malone, in fact, is looking a little bit faster than him and looking to unlap himself. And while he's hard to do so, it needs to be very careful that it isn't at the detriment of Ghost, because you know, look, Dry Bones Malone is still racing. There's no two ways about it. He has got a race on with Scarlet. He's got to try and stay ahead of Benjo. He wants to try and catch Scarlet, but at the same time, he can't compromise Ghost's race. You know, the slightest of touches, the slightest mistake, and it's sayonara, for want of a better expression. So 15 seconds of gap back to Stangman. The gap between him and Formula One, who has now gone sub 115 with a 1:14.9, is 34 seconds. We're now on lap 51. We're going to, what did I say it was, lap 67-ish? Or we were, yeah, still lap 67-ish. So we've got about 16 laps remaining. 25 minutes. However many laps they can squeeze in 25 minutes. So about 16 laps there or thereabouts. He needs 2 seconds a lap. Formula One, it's not going to happen. And someone else has hit a wall. Or is that because Formula One is doing his little paching off the wall thing? Can't be, it won't be Andy Stangman doing that. So Toolshed in 4th, 12 seconds to Formula One. That gap's just getting bigger every lap. That's not going to change. I'll tell you what isn't getting bigger though. The gap between Igorski and Toolshed. He has closed that down as Igorski. He is determined to get himself into that top 4. He does not want Toolshed to gain on him in the championship stakes. They might be looking and thinking, oh, we can't catch Scarlet now. The gap is just too big. But I'll tell you what, Igorski does not want that 10-second lead over Toolshed to be eroded in any way. And he's looking at closing down and making some extra points there. And of course, getting a place ahead as well gets him ever closer to Scarlet. And the closer he can be to Scarlet going into the last race, the better, because that's all that stands between him and a championship is 10 points. So he is closing that gap to Toolshed. It's down to 1.4 seconds. There is current championship leader. He is sitting 5.7 seconds back from Igorski. Doesn't look like he's catching either. If you look at lap times, he's not catching. Oh, excuse me. He is 12 seconds clear of Dry Bones Malone. 12 seconds, that's all it is. That is easy enough to make up if a little bit of pace is employed. Not implied. Now, this is where it can work for Dry Bones Malone. Let Ghost through, right? You are racing Scarlet. Let Ghost through and tuck him behind him for some juicy slipstream. There's a 1.5 second penalty there for Ghost. Gap's down to 11 seconds now. I've got to say, he's picked up some damage. Does that play into Stangman? Now, do you, look, if I'm Ghost, this is what I'm doing. I've seen that gap drop from 20 seconds to 15 seconds to 11 seconds. You've got to go in. And he's lost some time there. 21 to the 121. But that before that was a 115 too. Is he just losing a little bit of concentration now? This is the hardest thing. When you're that far ahead, yeah, I know I say relax, but don't relax to the stage where you start making mistakes, because the gap is now down to 8.6 seconds. Is there a new twist of the tale here? I would have sworn that this race was going to finish Ghost, Stangman, Formula One in that order. But now I'm beginning to wonder if it's going to be Stangman, Ghost, Formula One, or even Stangman, Formula One, Ghost. Can you imagine how devastating that would be for Ghost to have gone all this way in the lead of this race only to lose it at the very dying death? We are about 13 laps from the end of this race, 13, 14 laps. Just 20 minutes to go. That's the gap, 8.4 seconds. Formula One has taken another 3 seconds out of Stangman. He's taken the time out of him, but I don't think he's taken enough. That's the problem. 14 seconds back to Toolshed. He's still ahead of Igorski, but Igorski not letting him go. 1.3 seconds is that gap. And if I were Toolshed, I'd be a little bit worried at this stage that he's not going to hold on to it. It's certainly a sizable gap that has been eroded by Igorski since the pit window. So I was just adjusting my microphone a little bit. I moved it to a rather odd position. Scarlet is running in 6th place. There he is, 4.7 seconds behind Igorski. He would desperately love to close it up and get ahead at this stage, but it's not looking very, very likely. I tell you what, I've been really struggling with. I do 2 streams on a Saturday. I do one for Black Flag in this one, and then I do one on Sunday. And I tell you what, I've been starting to lose my voice. So luckily I didn't have one on Friday, but I have to drink a lubricating tea, should we say, which is rank, but it's good for my voice apparently. So that's what I drink. 15.5 seconds clear. Scully is of Dry Bones Malone now. So that whatever charge Dry Bones Malone had is no longer on. Definitely was in there to help Scarlet. Did go and repair some damage. Not going to get involved in that anymore. So Dry Bones Malone coming up behind his teammate, I believe. Yeah, he is coming up behind his teammate with Ghost tucked in behind, getting some lovely juicy slipstream there to help him along and help him pull away from Stangman if he can. Benjo. I had high hopes for Average Viper. I had high hopes for my friend Benjo. So I really felt that he certainly had the pace. Although he seems to have dropped off a little bit on those soft tyres, but he certainly seemed to have the pace early on. But a couple of crashes, and all of a sudden, back in 8th place. He's tucked in behind the fastest man on 4 wheels today, Formula One, running in 3rd place. He is. Benjo running in 8th, of course. Devlin 23 seconds back. He had to go and do some repairs. He is now 23 seconds behind his teammate and team manager, to be fair, in 9th place, but 12 seconds clear of Average Viper, who has Dry Bones Malone in 7th and Ghost in 1st for company at the moment. This is the thing on short racetracks like this, you can very much end up with these kind of interesting scenarios where you've got 3 cars all at a similar pace, but all in completely different parts of the racetrack. So we've got Average Viper about to be lapped by Dry Bones Malone, and we've got Average Viper's on lap 55. Okay, Dry Bones Malone's on lap 56. Ghost is on lap 57, but they're all on exactly the same part of the racetrack. You've got to love little details like that. It's pretty damn cool, isn't it? And it would be so nice if I could use the keyboard and just press the buttons like I used to be able to do on Sport. Miss it. There's Remy at the back of the pack. Let's say the better. He does have a really cool looking car. I'll give him that. 4.5 seconds worth of penalties. That's a lot of penalties to have. He's currently running on lap 50. 15.7 seconds back from OK Jake, who is 2 laps back from this guy, Chip Reese. Chip Reese was at the back of the pack at one stage. He has closed it up. And here we've got another same sort of scenario on the racetrack. So we've got Chip Reese running in 11th. We've got Igorski running in 5th. And we've got Toolshed running in 4th on the same part of the racetrack. Not quite as dramatic as the battle in front, but even still dramatic all the same. So there's Viper in 10th. Devlin in 9th. Benjo in 8th. Dry Bones Malone 7th. Scarlay 6th. Igorski in 5th, still only 2 seconds back behind Toolshed. Not been able to get any closer though. That's the closest he's been was about 1.2 seconds, but that's dropped out again now to 1.9. So there's your leader, Ghost. After the pit stops, this guy was 20 seconds clear. And he was trading fastest laps for Formula 1. Remember that. Since he's come out on the soft tyres, he's not been so quick. So actually, he was much better on the mediums than he's been on those softs. Now, that could be because he's picked up a little bit of damage. It could be because he is just looking after him a little bit at this stage. So he's got some tyre to play with at the end, should he need it. And obviously looking after the fuel is very important. We are just 15 minutes from the end of this 90-minute race. We're on lap 58 here at the high-speed ring. We're in the Genesis G70 GR3 car. This is round 4. No, it's not. It's season 4, but it's round 9 of GT Champions. Brought to you by Digit Gaming, Metropolis.com, the Detailing Group. Who else we got? Pride of the Dragon, High Pre, RWB Racing. Lots and lots and lots of glorious sponsors. Metropolis.com, you can see them on the front of the car, of course. It's been a really, really cool season. As you know, I've been involved since race number 4. I wish I'd been involved since race number 1. But it's really, really cool. But I've seen lots of different winners and lots of things change. But I'll tell you what I haven't seen this guy running such a clever race. The problem is now, though, it seems to be falling apart for Ghost. At one stage, Ghost was so unbeatable in this race. But he's now only 5.8 seconds clear. There's 15, 16, 14 odd minutes left. So we're looking at about another 8 or 9 laps. 2.8 seconds now since he served that penalty. Stagman must be thinking, I've got this in the bag. Here's teammate Dry Bones Malone and Average Viper. Wait, I actually thought Average Viper would be here or hereabouts. So, you know, it's nice to see his teammate there. Nice to see Stagman up there with him. He hasn't been mixing it with these big boys as of yet, really. So it's good to see him up there. He is down to the gap there. It's down to 1.9 seconds. And I tell you what, if I was Ghost, I would be bricking it. Because, you know, at one stage he had a 20-second lead. Stagman does have to be a little bit aware about this guy. This guy, Formula One, who's in behind him. The gap was 40 seconds. It's now 18 seconds. There's not enough, for me, there's not enough time left in this race for Formula One to, sorry, it's down to 29 seconds. For Formula One to make up that gap. I mean, it's taking him an awful lot. It's taken him since the pit window to take out those 10 seconds. He's not going to take out another 29 in the 7 or 8 laps that are remaining. Without question, he's not going to do that. But I'll tell you what, if there were a driver of the day, he would get it because he's been quick. Unless, of course, he's not supposed to be wall riding, then maybe he won't get it. We'll see. He's not the only one I've seen doing it, so let's be fair. He's not unique to him. He's just been doing it more than everybody else. So Toolshed still holding off Igorski, but it's not looking good anymore. He was looking comfortably ahead of him, but Igorski is determined. He said, look, if I'm not getting the top 3, I don't mind, but you're not finishing in front of me. He still wants this. He knows he's still in it, and he knows he still wants it. And that extra 2 points just in front of him is going to do wonders to, number 1, keep Toolshed further behind him in the championship, but more importantly, to close that gap. even if it's only by a couple of points, 4 points, to close the gap on Scarlet and put it all into the last race of the season. And that will be next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And where are we? I just bought the car yesterday, so I know it's going to be somewhere cool. I'll look it up in a minute. That's probably the best idea, to look it up. So here we go. 7/10 is the distance. He's picking up a little bit of slipstream. Is it enough to make the move? Or is he just going to wait a couple of laps? I think that you've got 10 minutes left. I think you're going to make the move. You've got to make it now. You know, it's now or never, man. So we're coming into, and very wide there, Toolshed. Takes a much wider line through there than most of the other drivers do, which is an unusual line to take through there. So here we go. Gorski gets on that power. He's closing the gap. Closing. What you want to do here is be a bit closer as they come onto the straight. This is flat out here. You don't need to lift. Absolutely keep that foot in. And they both do. Both good traction. They're both on soft tyres. It's a game of fine margins now. Tactics don't come into play because everybody's on the same tyres. It's just about driving ability, and that gap's closing. Is it going to close enough for the overtake in? Nah, not for me. But he just needs to keep doing this, chipping away, and he'll make that move happen. Cutting to the inside. This is a great draft around the corner. Really does drag you beautifully around there. What happens into turn 2? How's your braking, boys? Very, very tight on the inside there, which isn't actually the fastest way round that corner. That's probably one of the few corners on this game where clipping the apex isn't that great in terms of lap time. You are better on keeping your foot in and hanging that round the outside, up the wall a little bit, using the camber to get you turned. You've got to do a lot more steering wheel turning on the inside than you do up the wall with the camber. He's closer this time. He was 7/10 back. This time, last lap, he's now 4/10 back. Is he close enough now to make the move? He's got to be tucked inside here. He is tucked right under that wing. The gap is closing. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Here it is closing. It's closing on him. Does he want to sit in behind for a couple more laps, though? Or is he going to make the move up into turn 2 here? The move is certainly on. Is he going to cut up the inside? He's making that move. They're side by side going through the turn. That's the view. That's fine for taking the inside line. That's quicker there. But Igorski does make the move on Toolshed. The question is, can Toolshed make the move straight back at him as they come into this corner here? Igorski, again. The inside line doesn't look that quick to me. I could be mistaken. There probably could be people out there taking the inside line and it's much, much quicker. So Igorski does make the move stick, and it looks to me that he's starting just to pull out a little bit of a gap. Has Toolshed got enough to tack on, stick with him, and carry on going up the road? For me, I'm not sure that he does. So, who was that that was sideways? Formula One, sideways. So any charge on Stagman is over, but with Igorski moving up to 4th place, and past Toolshed, and Formula One spinning, this could all change. So do you know what? I said it was about consistency. It's just gone very wrong for Formula One. He is still the fastest man out there. He's still got that 1 minute 14.9, but now he's got Igorski just 2.3 seconds behind him. Igorski's got Toolshed just 9/10, about a second behind him. So these two are now chasing down a guy that we thought was uncatchable, and that 3-second penalty has thrown his podium into absolute chaos. Is that podium still his to be had? It certainly doesn't look like it. Is that karma for using the walls? Maybe, some would say. I would say lack of concentration. That's what the 90-minute race is there for. It's there to test everything, not just your driving ability, not just your fuel saving, not just your ability to look after your tyres, but your concentration too. And at the moment, the people that are concentrating, there he is, Stagman. He's closed that gap on Ghost to 1.7 seconds. Igorski takes 3rd place up into the top 3. Disaster for Formula One, who for me has been one of the best drivers all day. Toolshed up into 4th place. Now Formula One has to try and find that same grit, the same energy, the same pace that got him that 1 minute 14.9 much earlier in the race, and giving him that crazy pace he's had all day. Because now there's a problem, and this is the problem. Igorski is into that top 3. Scarlett is back in 6th place. The gap at the top of the leaderboard is about to shrink quite significantly if it stays as it is, and I tell you what, it's looking that it might be that way. If it stays as it is, Igorski will get 14 juicy points. Toolshed will pick up 12 juicy points. Scarlett will pick up just 10. So the gap at the top of the table will close to just 6 points going into the final race of the season. So Igorski can smell blood, and so can this man, Stangman. He sees just up ahead the guy that was 20 seconds ahead of him just 20 laps ago is now only 1.8 seconds, and he must be thinking there's got to be a chance here. They're ahead of him, Dry Bones Malone. Scarlett is 14 seconds up the road. Formula One now only 3 seconds in front of Scarlett. Is that something to worry about? Because he's got a bit of damage from that spin. I tell you what, there could be a big twist in the tail here. Really, really could be. And this is why I love motor racing, because anything can happen. And Ghost has lost 1st place. Stangman takes the lead on lap 67 with just 4 minutes to go. Ghost must be absolutely devastated. He has led this race from pretty much the 1st lap, and now he is damaged. He's got 3-second penalty, and he's got Igorski. He might be 53. He might be almost a lap back. But I'll tell you what, he's got to limp that car home now. Stangman is off. He is just coming past. There's his teammates. Look at that. That's a great shot for the family album. That. The 3 teammates. Stangman in 1st. Dry Bones Malone in 7th. Average Viper in 10th. All on different parts of the racetrack. Or certainly different parts of the race, but in the same part of the track. What a great shot that is going to be. Someone's got to save the replay and take that shot. That's brilliant. That's one for the family album. Stangman, Dry Bones Malone, and Average Viper. Who's that yellow flag for? If that yellow flag is for Ghost, 41 seconds. He's got to limp that car round and just hope that Igorski doesn't catch him. What an absolute massive twist. 15 seconds, Stangman's ahead now. Remember, when they came out of the pits, he was 20 seconds behind him, and it was looking absolutely in the bag for Ghost. It just seems the concentration has backed off, and it's all gone horribly wrong. I mean, he was steady 115s, and then lap 67, lap 66, brain fart. It all went wrong, and now he is 17 seconds back. And I tell you what, looking in his mirrors, because there's still time for a change to the story. 52 seconds, Igorski is behind the lead. He's not going to catch Stangman. He's 36 seconds behind Ghost, currently sitting 3rd. Toolshed 1.5 seconds behind him. Now, if Igorski can catch Ghost, so can Toolshed. And I tell you what, be afraid, be very afraid. Formula One, for me, was running in there, looking like he might cruise home. But it's gone very, very wrong for him too. He is about to lose 5th place to Scarlett, and through comes Scarlett to take 5th from Formula One, who for me, up until that point, had been the best driver out. And he's still desperately trying to use that. Look at the impetus that wall ride gives you. Absolutely shoots you forward. Do you want my opinion on the wall ride? Shouldn't be allowed. Simple as. But it's in the game. This is the thing. It's in the game, so you can't stop it. It's part of the game. It's written into the physics of the game. So how can you not allow it? That's the thing. I don't think it's personally a good idea. But it's written into the physics of the game. It probably should be allowed. But Scarlet has taken 5th place back again. Can he hold on to it with the wall riding genius? So what's the gap now? 34 seconds. Ghost has got to nurse that car home. It's last lap of the race, I think, for pretty much everyone now. Lap 69. Giggle, giggle, snicker, snicker. And that's it. We're hitting that 90-minute mark. So here we are with Stangman. Stuck it in there. Didn't falter. 20 seconds back and just sat in there and waited. So Formula One finishes in 6th place. 1 lap back. Here comes Stagman. Drumos Malone in 7th. Stagman wins this race here at High Speed Ring in the G70. What a win from him. Ghost hangs on. Just hangs on. Only just hangs on for 2nd place. 32 seconds back. Just left himself a little bit too much to do, despite Ghost's absolute nightmare last couple of laps. But he will come home. I don't know how. Head scratching that one, but he will come home in 3rd place. Here he comes to cross the lot. We'll get there eventually. .32 seconds back. There he goes. Zagorski is 3rd. Toolshed finishes in 4th place. Scarlet will come home in 5th. Formula One finishes in 6th place. Drybones Malone 7th. Devlin will be 8th. Benjo, Paul Sharon from him in the end at 9th. Same with Average Viper. I say disappointed. I don't mean disappointed as in like disappointed, but you know what I mean. So there's your top 3. Who predicted that top 3 when this race started 90 minutes ago? I bloody didn't. And I tell you what a race that was. I'm saving that replay for posterity. That has got some awesome footage in it. What a race. What a race. That's all I can say. There's nothing else to be said about that. What an absolute doozy of a race that was. So, top 3 are decided. I need to go away and find some drivers to come talk to me. And we will discuss just what went on in that crazy, crazy, crazy race. I'll be back with you shortly. So here we are with I think two of the top three we've got in there so far. We've got Igorski and we've got Stangman. We're going to talk to you, Stangman, in a minute. But Igorski, man, when you came out of the pit window and you were sitting, I think you were sitting in fifth or sixth, what were your thoughts going through your mind then?
I was thinking I was going to get fifth or sixth. A whole lot of luck came my way.
Yeah, I can imagine the first thing going through your mind is just stay ahead of Scarlet. Just stay ahead of Scarlet.
Yeah, I was hoping Formula One would stay ahead of him too, so we could get a couple places in between. But
yeah,
I think he ended up passing.
It was not. I mean, Formula One for me all day. It's just phenomenally quick, and it's only the fact that there's only, you'll be interested to know, only two drivers all day didn't crash. If he hadn't have crashed early on, I think he probably would have been there or thereabouts. But then it just went horribly wrong at the end. So it goes down to the wire. You need a lot of things to go your way. To be fair, they went quite well your way this race, but you need quite a lot to go your way next race as well, don't you?
Yeah, I need it.
Predictions?
I don't know if I can catch Scally.
You think you can catch him, yeah?
No, I don't think I can catch
I don't
him.
think you can. Well,
He's going to have a terrible race, and he hasn't shown the capability of having a terrible race.
That is very true. Well, at least
he's
you
just too
backed
quick and too consistent.
I mean, there was the penalty. Obviously, I did talk to you last week, but there was a penalty handed out, so I should have done. But there we go. Is what it is.
Yeah.
But another podium for you. So you must be pleased. I mean, you're putting in regular podiums, so.
Yeah, I'm pleased, but I could have done better here. I had that one incident where I lost control of the back of the car and just went right into the inside wall in the last corner, and that took at least a position. I don't know if I would have caught Stangman, but I was right on his bumper for most of that time.
Yeah, I mean this track. I mean, you'll see that I mentioned it on the stream that it's important to be quick around here, but actually, it's more important to just not crash.
Yeah, very much so.
And talking of not crashing, Stangman.
Yes.
You didn't crash.
No, but the first thing I want to say is I want to apologize to Scally, because on the second lap when Juan crashed, I got into the back of him and I think I made him crash. I apologize for that, but what can you do, right? So
no, to be fair, I mean, it was real carnage early on, and I don't understand. I mean, I don't think there's any one person you can single out and go, they're responsible for everything that happened. But it just seemed a lot of people kind of forgot that it was a 90-minute race and it's a 1 minute 15 lap, and tried to win it in the first couple of laps. And it was just, and I think this is why it was easy for you and Ghost to make such a big gap out front, because you just didn't get involved in any of it. You kind of, I watched at one stage you actually hung back and you watched this carnage unfold in front of you and just took a different line and disappeared.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, right? Like, you find where the carnage is and you drive away from it or around it to try and save your own race. Me and Nagorski were having a really good race there until he lost the back of the car, and I said to myself, "Oh crap," because I really enjoy when, like, the race me and Nagorski had there for those few laps, because he pulled away on me and then I'd catch back up, and that's fun. Yeah,
I mean, I think there was one stage where I think you overtook each other 7 or 8 times. That was really, really good racing. So at what point did you kind of resign yourself to, okay, second will do?
Pretty much right after, when I seen that I had like 34 seconds on Igorski, I thought, well, a pit stop's not 34 seconds, so as long as I have a good last half of the race, I'd be okay. But I didn't really think I'd catch Ghost. And then when he had the problems that he did about the last 2-3 laps, I was just like, holy crap. I mean, I kind of fell into it more than anything, but I would have been happy with second, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know what it was with Ghost. It just looked to me that he just completely lost all concentration, because if you look at the sort of 10 or 11 laps before it, there wasn't much more than 3/10 in his lap times up until that stage, and then he had 2 laps of absolute, if it could go wrong, it did go wrong.
Yeah.
So good points for you, man. Good points for you. But you're pleased with that, though, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the first win I've ever had, actually, so I'm pretty happy with that.
I've got to say, did you save the replay? Did you save the race replay?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Now I've got it as well. There's a brilliant shot, and it's a couple of laps from the end of Stangman, Dry Bones Malone, and Average Viper, because you're all in the same team, and you were on three completely different laps, but on exactly the same part of the racetrack, just for you to come and bring the win. And they both kind of moved out of your way to let you through. And I tell you what, that is going to be a brilliant shot for your website.
Yeah, it was. I was kind of hoping they might hold Ghost up, but I never thought, like what happened to Ghost would happen. So,
No, not
but
at all. But then, to be fair,
I mean, I was
I
saving
thought
fuel.
might catch you because he was looking so quick all day, and the gap was getting smaller, but it wasn't getting smaller quick enough. I think that was the one thing. But then it all went on for him as well.
I even had to sit there and start saving fuel because I wasn't sure if I'd have enough, and that's when he really started catching me. And then when I saw that Ghost was only 7 seconds in front of me, I thought I might be able to get him. So I cranked up the fuel again, and I think I finished with 1.1 fuel left. So might have been able to do one more lap, but that would have been about it.
Yeah, just on the cusp of finishing. To be fair though,
Yeah.
it wasn't that intensive on the tyres here, but I think the fuel was a bit it just kind of fit. No, but great race from you. At the end of the day, you did what you need to do, which is stay in it, and then you pick up the extra points when people around you make a mistake. So congratulations, guys, and
Thank you.
finale next week, man.
Thank you.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. See you next week.
You,
So there we have it. Round 9 is over. We move into round 10, and what a finish that was! I've got to say, if you can't be impressed with that, what can you be impressed with? Such brilliant racing. Not a lot left for me to say, really. Just go and check out the GT Champions website. There is that 20k tournament coming up very soon. You've only got 4 more days to get registered, so get involved. But other than that, I've been Urban Pirate from Black Flag Racing TV, here with GT Champions World Cup Season 4, Round 9 in the Genesis G70, the high-speed ring. It was phenomenal racing. Stagman from nowhere wins the race, and Igorski yet again pulls out another podium from absolutely nowhere. But we talked about the scenario that Skylane needed to win it today. Didn't happen. It goes down to the last race. The gap's a little bit smaller, but we're going to need some thrills and spills there. And next week, where are we? Let's have a little look, because I did say I would check it out because I forgot. So next week we are, oh my God, we're at Fuji. I love that racetrack. Fuji in the BRZ GT300. That is going to be such a good race. Miss it and you will miss out. But thank you very much for joining me this evening, if you did. If you didn't, thank you very much for watching tomorrow when I'm asleep. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been GT Champions World Cup. It has been emotional.